So we have another in the series of Fireside Chats with firms that have been early supporters of Insurtech UK, and delighted today to have Trevor Maynard from Lloyds of London, who've been one of the earlier associate members of Insurtech UK. So Lloyds formed in 1688, teaming up with this brand new community of Insurtechs in the London market. So it's an amazing combination. And perhaps Trevor, you might just give us a little bit of background about what you do at Lloyds, and then lead into why has Lloyds become interested in supporting Insurtech UK and the community here?
Yeah, sure. Well, so I'm head of innovation at Lloyds, and that makes me responsible for the thought leadership side of things, which we're trying to link actively to product development, and then also something we call the Lloyds Lab, which is our incubator and accelerator, which is designed to find a way to work with Insurtechs and bring their great ideas to us. And the reason that we thought Insurtech UK was a great sort of organisation to support is that the organisations that are the prime members of that have done it for real. They're all experts in their field. They've done Insurtech themselves. They really know what the barriers are, how to make it work, and we want to support that because we see a very strong synergy between the Insurtechs and the incumbents.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, for Lloyds, for our members, Lloyds is such a huge brand, and it would seem to have such huge, walls around it. But you've probably got some classes of business, areas of business that you're particularly interested in sort of seeing, come up from the Insurtech UK members. What would be the areas that were of particular interest to Lloyds, but also to your own, underwriters within the market?
Yeah, first thing I'd say with Insurtech is I don't think it's just about insurance product. I think it can be about a broader sense, which is making us more efficient, better, modern, etc. Mm-hmm. So, there are some Insurtechs that offer tools that help you understand the risk better. Mm-hmm. There are some Insurtechs that offer tools to make you pay claims quicker or find loss adjusters faster. And there are indeed some that are developing products, and they're very interesting too. So I'd say we were interested in the whole range, and I personally would like a widening of the concept of Insurtech in that sense. But yes, you're seeing interest in multiple classes of business. Very interesting to me is that the marine guys, marine was one of the first class in Lloyds back in 1688 in the coffee shop. And yet, actually they're really very excited about all the sensor technologies there are and how you can have, like Parcel was one of our first Insurtechs in the lab, and they have a little sensor that goes on a ship and it tells you when the cargo has been spoiled because it got too hot or too humid. So you can adjust a claim very quickly there just by looking at the sensor results. Oh, it was too hot. Right, we'll spoil the food. It will pay the claim. It's very exciting to see the marine industry modernising in that way.
And you're finding the underwriters are really embracing, some of these new tools and approaches.
Yeah, I guess I'm lucky in the sense that we run the Lloyds Lab and we invite people to come, and the people that come are obviously self-selecting. And what I've seen amongst those people is excitement, genuine belief that we need to modernise in this way, looking for the opportunities and possibilities of the new technologies. I'm sure there are people that are, wishing the world wasn't modernising, but I luckily don't get to meet them.
Right. And in the, so the two areas of particular sort of high profile, the Lloyds Lab and your product innovation facility. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about maybe each of those and how they're going. But with particular relevance for, again, our members. You're finding members now, UK members, applying to join the Lloyds Lab?
Yes, we're working with a company called Elmarks that does a great job in scouting. So they have a big address book of Insurtechs around the world. Obviously UK, fantastic. We're also interested in, Israel, US, New Zealand, anywhere really that's got sort of that tech scene going on. So they do a great job in reaching out and saying to them, consider applying. Here are the challenges that we're trying to solve. If you've got something that can help us there, then apply. So if you take, for example, the latest cohort, we call them cohorts. They're basically a group of Insurtechs that work in the lab for a 10-week sprint. And if you take that latest cohort, then we had 130 applications for that. which is pretty good. And they're later stage companies, so they've all got services or products already developed that they can make an offer to the market. And we basically run a situation where they apply, we go through various layers of filtering so that we can see which ones are best fit, and then we invite 24 in to pitch their ideas. The market attends that, we call it pitch day, and usually the room is full, 80, 90 people in the room, and they can all vote on the attributes of those companies and what they like about it and what they don't like. And then we'll take those votes at the end of the day and make a decision. And this time we've got 13 Insurtechs in the lab.
Brilliant, fantastic. And then the product innovation facility, very new initiative. How's that starting to go? How's that moving along?
That's fantastic. So, this is a great example of the Lloyds market working with the Lloyds Corporation and really playing to the strengths of each of them, which is just fantastic. And I've been working in Lloyds for, nearly 14 years, and, it's great to see this happening. This is when Lloyds is at its best. So what has happened there is a group of companies have come together and have said that actually to do innovation experiments around product, it's better to do it together than apart. You can mutualise the expenses of innovation, you can follow one another's ideas and learn from one another, support one another. There's kind of a peer review concept, which is absolutely classic Lloyds. There's always been this idea of the broker bringing something round to multiple underwriters, and you get that sense of peer review as it does. So that's retained. There's a very firm desire to work with brokers and for brokers to bring innovative ideas to the group. So it was launched in June, and it was initially launched with 12 managing agents and 50 million of capacity, pounds. And then shortly after that, the people in the market that maybe hadn't been involved in those conversations were like, actually, this is great, can we join as well? So we're now up to 25 managing agents and 118 million of capacity. And they've launched a product already, which I won't go into the details. I can do, but I'm sure we've got time constraints. But they've launched a product already. They're meeting regularly, and we're also working with Lloyds Performance Management to have sort of appropriate oversight so that it doesn't stifle innovation. We're very keen at Lloyds not to do that, and it's working pretty well at the moment.
That's brilliant. Just to pause there, you said 118 million of premium capacity. Which is, for our members to understand the appetite, that there is within the Lloyds market for new products. That's an extraordinary, an impressive number. And so for our members to be able to engage with you, obviously you're keen for a lot of our members to be engaged with you, either through the lab or through, new products. How best to do that? Because for a lot of our members, they may not have had lots of experience of dealing with Lloyds. How should they best engage with Lloyds? Is it through you as the gatekeeper, really?
I think they can certainly come through us. Absolutely, they can definitely do that, and we would welcome that. There's various ways of keeping track of what we're doing. So we've got at Lloyds_lab on Twitter, and we've got Lloyds Lab Innovators on LinkedIn. And if you request to join that, I'll definitely be saying, yes, you can join that group. So it's very easy to follow what we're doing. And then in terms of getting involved, the Product Innovation Facility, if you Google Product Innovation Facility and Lloyds of London, you will get to a web page which tells you which managing agents are involved, which is good. And it may be that you've already got connections with some of those managing agents, so that's useful in itself, because then they can grandfather your idea into the group. The other thing you can do is you can fill in an online form just explaining a little bit about what you're doing, what you're offering, and then that will go to one of my team who will then make sure the underwriters see it. So that's for product. So that would be Insurtechs that have got, like Flood Flash and organisations like that have got actual products linked to what they're doing. If instead you're doing services, then it's the Lloyds Lab, or it could eventually be the future at Lloyds as well. Because there's going to be ways for service providers to come into that in future, which is a very exciting new development. So with the lab, the best thing to do is to watch out for when the next cohort is advertised. And what we have on the lloydslab.com is an explanation of this is what we're looking for. And if you fit that, then it's very clear. You just apply using an LMarks app, and then that way it will get to us and we will review it.
Perfect.
So there's lots of ways actually to make touch.
Good. So all our members should sign up for sort of, much more direct contact with Lloyds, so they're fed with what's going on, all of the new initiatives, all that sort of stuff.
Definitely, because actually thinking about it, we also do things like trade fairs, and throughout the year we do lots of other things. So there are other ways of bringing their ideas to the attention of the market through the Lloyds Lab.
Brilliant, brilliant. So I certainly from my perspective, having been in the Lloyds market all my career, I've sensed Lloyds is picking up pace and moving faster actually than many other organisations in terms of its openness to Insurtech. And obviously, in terms of the Lloyds Corporation, but also the members themselves, the underwriters themselves. And we should really encourage all of our Insurtech UK members to come up and see the lab, come and see where you are, come into the building and see where it is, because it is unique, and because there's so many underwriters there that you can talk to, but also because you've got a very dedicated space for innovation, and there's just every time I go up there's just a lot going on. And so, we'd encourage all of our members to make sure they've got a link with Lloyds, even though they may not have done so, to date. So,
well, we would welcome that. They're very welcome to do that. So, by all means, get in touch with me or Ed Gaze, who's the manager of the lab. And coming back to your point about Lloyds, I can't speak for other companies, but I actually think Lloyds has collaboration by design. So
yes.
If you think about the slip system and the way we share risks, we're used to doing that, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's a natural fit, actually.
Good point, good point. The other point is that Lloyds is international licenses. So many of these underwriters, they're sitting at a place sitting at their underwriting seat in London, but of course they can write business internationally. So it's a huge market opportunity in terms of reach. For working with Lloyds in terms of reaching business internationally, instead of having to go over to some of these countries physically.
Yes. Actually, one other thing which is future at Lloyds related is if an Insurtech has such a well-developed product that it's got a reasonable track record and it wants to scale up. We have a new concept called Syndicate in a Box, where you can start up a syndicate at Lloyds very rapidly, certainly rapidly compared to the usual process, which takes inevitably quite a bit of time because there's lots of due diligence to do. And that would be another way of getting involved, actually. So they could become their own syndicate at Lloyds, and then they would have all that access to those licenses you mentioned. Yeah. So that would be another way of getting involved.
No, I think it's probably one of the most exciting developments that's coming out of the whole future at Lloyds, in terms of having your own, in a sense, capital vehicle, either for you or for one of your distribution partners. No, I agree, and a fast track system. So really helpful, Trevor, to hear for our members to hear more about what's going on at Lloyds, and we're absolutely delighted to have you as an associate member, we respect and love the fact that a business that started in 1688 is teaming up with a business, an organisation that was only formed last year. So thank you very much for coming along this morning, and really recommend all of our members start to think Lloyds of London.
Great.
Okay, thanks very much.
It's been a pleasure.